these trainers need to buckle in and get ready for a long, maybe grind out matchup here.
Yeah, and taking notes as well. I think that I would definitely need those to reference in between games because everything is on the wire. You do not want to leave it up to chance. You have all the nerves and the adrenaline floating around in your head as well. This is game one of the grand finals here. Shadow Nidoqueen versus Azumarill are the leads, but an instant swap into Walrein and a response of the Lickitung.
Now that instantaneous swap tells us that he was uncomfortable in the opening matchup, but also potentially trying to pull a Pokemon out, maybe looking for a counter user here, but gets met by the Lickitung. This is a great place for Lickitung to go as well, because if that third Pokemon in the back for Andrew is the Surf Edge, this normal type Pokemon gets to avoid it.
The first charged attack from this Lickitung will be a Body Slam, not opting for the Power Whip for super effective damage, getting one of the shields from Andrew as a result. It looks like Andrew is building up to a possible Earthquake bait, opting for the Icicle Sphere, and Axon not falling for it, not shielding, will be taking damage, but Lickitung still able to stick around.
Lickitung, again, known for its bulk and HP, but oh my goodness, Andrew is trying to apply pressure here, trying to draw away Protect Shield. Its Axon will give him that liberty, deploying the Protect Shield and trying to reach another charge attack because Lickitung has so much energy, you don't want to let it all go to waste.
And especially that Axon can fake a Power Whip here, going for the Body Slam. Again, the attack that costs the least amount of energy, but forcing Andrew to use his last shield here, I think, is huge because now you know that these attacks will connect and you can figure out, okay, Shadow Nidoqueen and Swampert are my backline. Let's find these matchups. Let's find those charged moves that can pick up those knockouts, as Lickitung will be KO'd by an Icicle Sphere.
Well, you're exactly right. Actually trying to apply pressure and make him think that Walrein could lose its status on the field, and he does draw away the Protect Shield. We see the final shield for its Axon again getting shedded here as well as it looks to protect from this Icicle Spear. Nidoqueen is a tough matchup here against the Walrein, but the Poison Fang is deadly.
That defense drop will ensure that I think one more fast move attack from that Nidoqueen will be enough for the knockout. If this isn't enough outright, Andrew down to his final two Pokemon will have the opportunity to send one in, but switches all around. It is Swampert now versus that Azumarill.
This is so critical because the Azumarill gets to avoid a negative matchup against that Nidoqueen as we see these charge attacks get queued up. We're going to see the Earthquake come through here from the Swampert on the left side. No Sludge Wave in the Swampert's toolkit, so unable to deal super effective damage, but still same type attack bonus packs a punch.
And that Azumarill is going to charge up its attack so slowly. It's likely this Swampert will find a second Earthquake before the Azumarill is able to pick up the knockout. Play Rough will connect and will deal a decent amount of damage, but Swampert still being around means it can find the 3 extra turns to get that Earthquake, but Axon getting a little greedy here.
Axon reaching right for that charge move priority, triggering that, and it's going to throw the Earthquake here to secure the KO. This is so critical as well because this Swampert might have enough energy to get to the Hydro Cannon. Can it get there? Yes!
Oh, it got there!
This is a critical one mud shot Hydro Cannon, going to deploy all kinds of damage on the Sableye. Now the question is, Gabby, can that Nidoqueen reach an Earth Power to secure the knockout and finish the job?
It does have a little bit of energy available, but instead Axon trying to force a charge move priority event with that Poison Fang into the foul play. Andrew winning the event, going for the attack and getting that knockout onto the Nidoqueen. That Swampert is right behind it.
Absolutely. Sableye there for Andrew. Again, taking out 2 Pokemon there in the final moments. I don't think Sableye is tall enough to hold a broom, but it was able to sweep that back line there.
You know, I think you just got to find the right size broom, and it clearly can make it work out.
Absolutely. If someone has a toothbrush they can hand to Sableye, we really appreciate it. You know, we can get the same analogy going. But in terms of team composition, I think its Axon made a lot of incredible plays, recognizing the Azumarill was going to take a while to get to that next charge attack, triggering that Earthquake on the CMP event, and then reaching for the Hydro Cannon. I think its Axon tried to do all the right things towards the end, but it just wasn't enough to defeat the Sableye.
No, and going into this game too now, you have to look at his team and figure out what Pokemon are going to be capable of taking out that Sableye. You know, the Lickitung, I think, struggles against it. It is a normal type Pokemon, and while it does get access to some pretty neat type coverage with Lick, with Power Whip, it's just not going to have the natural advantage there. And as much as I think it's cool that Axon brought the Lickitung to this game 1 of the Grand Finals, I don't know. I mean, is there something else on your team that can handle Sableye better? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a very tricky question. I think that finding neutral play or finding ways to manipulate switch advantage is going to be critical here as he looks to conquer it. And I think Andrew's team just applies so much pressure in the form of Sableye late game, Surf Fetch late game, or even early game with that powerful counter and charge attack combination. But he showed that he's been able to make use of Pokemon like Azumarill because we've seen it be so effective in a lot of neutral play as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how these trainers feel things out. We're headed into a game 2 here in our grand finals. Andrew is going to try to continue to apply pressure. It's Axon trying to fight off his rival here. Let's see what happens. Azumarill hits the field and faces Medicham.
Another classic Great League matchup. These two Pokemon out on the field, and already the Swampert taking that Medicham spot, probably trying to stick around a little bit later for a more favorable matchup. Now, the interesting thing about Swampert here is this is an amazing opportunity for it to get energy to charge up those Hydro Cannons. Will take a shield away from Axon to block this player off, but still, I think Swampert is definitely in the commanding position right now.
I believe so as well, and we saw a very interesting thing, a micro moment here as the Earthquake is used. Azumarill performed a bubble and then tried to reach for the wall ring to absorb the attack, but it was in the middle of the bubble animation, so he has to wait until the charge attack is ready. Here comes the wall ring. Gonna go ahead and fire a charge attack here, but look at this Swampert. Higher attack stat gets to go first in this CMP exchange.
No shield from Andrew. A second Earthquake will bring it down almost into the red. This Icicle Sphere will have the opportunity to connect with Swampert as there won't be a shield, but that's not going to be enough for a knockout, and you got to wonder, there's a Hydro Cannon just waiting there to be fired to try and pick up that knockout.
This is the Swampert difference. It charges so quickly with that Community Day Hydro Cannon, and it's not a Shadow Swampert like we previously seen, so it's able to absorb these attacks, pull a Protect Shield away from Andrew, and Walrein is able to dominate the matchup, but it costs quite a bit to get here.
Does have an Icicle Sphere available to it, and will use it against this Medicham. No shield from Axon. Looked like Andrew was almost fishing for an Earthquake there, but is not going to be able to find the time as it's just so close with that switch, giving that Walrein the opportunity for that last bit of energy and fire off this Icicle Sphere into the Lickitung. Yeah,
that switch really costs a little bit of damage there, allowing that Walrein to get one more attack, and it gets saved in the back of the roster in the back there for Andrew, which means that he can switch it in later and try to absorb a charge attack, but with just 1 or 2 HP, he has to be exactly precise with his timing.
Play Rough is the charged move of choice for Azumarill, connecting with this Lickitung. Axon fishing for the Power Whip, going to charge it up a little bit more, possibly looking to bait out that last shield with a Body Slam, but these Pokemon are getting at such low health. These charge moves really doesn't make a difference which one you pick at this point.
No, Body Slam is more than enough as Lickitung throws its weight around and secures the KO. As we saw there, all those licks gather so much energy, and it really sets up its Axon to handle the next matchup, and he does see that Sableye. These Shadow Claws resisted so much HP in this Lickitung's pool, and it's able to withstand that attack and get to the Power Whip here.
And that really is the move of choice, as it will not be resisted by Sableye, but Shadow Claw also going to be resisted, looking like Lickitung is going to find a second Power Whip. If Andrew doesn't decide to throw this foul play, he will throw it, but it's caught by a shield. Axon down to his final 2 Pokemon, final 2 shields in this game.
As the HP gets lower, the pressure increases, especially when you realize, oh my goodness, he tries to make the switch on the charge attack, doesn't get it. And look at this. This is so critical because the Lickitung needs to KO the Sableye. Medicham has such a tough matchup. Is this the Power Whip? Does Andrew call an attack? And he does! What an insane call on that very decisive move. I can't even get all the words out.
I know, it's so exciting here. Lickitung does have enough energy for a second Body Slam, but Andrew at such low health, you cannot take this risk. You shield that, you go for the foul play. We see the Medicham switch in. It looks like it's a return from Sableye. There are no Protect Shields remaining. That is the more powerful charge move for Sableye. Is it going to be enough? Just
Sableye!
Barely missing it.
Can it get the KO here as well? Let's see.
It's gonna be close, but that lick fast enough to knock out that Sableye, tying up this first set of Grand Finals 1-1.
The 1-turn fast attack difference. Striking first in a microsecond was key there in that matchup. Resisting the Shadow Claw helped, but Lickitung able to deal that damage was so critical. What an exciting series. It's sometimes these actions happen so fast I could barely keep up, but these trainers are thinking at warp speed. They might be psychic types because they are predicting things and seeing things that I might have missed.
Future Sight, I believe, is the move of choice for that, but I don't think we see Future Sight too often in the Great League, though I feel like it does get some play in Pokemon Go. Not now. Not in this matchup.
Not in this,
some play.
Not in this current series. We have seen Pokemon like Cresselia use Future Sight to great advantage, but somehow these trainers have absorbed that ability. So as we look at Game 3, which trainer is the stronger Psychic type as they try to predict their opponent's teams?
It's a tough call. I mean, I think that Andrew, it feels like, you know, when he does take those losses, he's able to recognize where things went wrong in his game plan and respond accordingly. And that's really the key ability that's allowed him into grand finals on the loser's side of the bracket. And I think that's the exact play style you have to be making here. You have to look back at the most recent matchup, as that will be the most recent matchup on your opponent's mind, and figure out how you can just tweak that game plan so it is more successful. We're going into Game 3 now. Shadow Nidoqueen versus the Sableye out on the field.
As a reminder to everyone listening at home, this might be a decisive matchup in a best of 3, but this is a best of 5 series, so as things look a little bit tough here for its Axin, this battle has a long way to go. We do see the Surfetch finally come out to play, and it does throw the Night Slash, commanding a shield because that Leaf Blade would have been super effective.
Does it get the attack boost? That could be absolutely decisive, but not yet. Icicle Sphere coming out from that. Wall Rain connecting with the shield on Andrew's side of the field, not ready to lose that Surfetch. As again, it has such a fantastic matchup against Axin's Pokemon, but going to be forced to invest so many of his resources just to keep it around on the field.
Controlling switch advantage comes at a great cost here as Surfetch does absorb both of those Protect Shields. But look at this, now out comes the Nidoqueen. If Surfetch can get 2 charge attacks here, Andrew might get great value back out of this Pokemon that he invested in.
There's that first charge move. It's going to be a Leaf Blade, no shield on Axin's side of the field, as that will do neutral damage, you know, bring it down into the yellow, but still, all things are good here. But the second charged move, it looks like, again, that Surfetch beating the Nidoqueen to the Poison Fang will meet with the shield, and now it is Nidoqueen's turn to attack, but a great switch from, oh, that's just a knockout from Andrew. Great opportunity to switch, but unfortunately Surfetch is off the field.
Now we do see the Nidoqueen is just so adept at applying debuffs. Does this Earth Power apply a defense drop to the Sableye? Let's find out. No defense drop. Sableye switches out though. Here comes Registeel versus Lickitung. Lickitung is on the field, Gabby, but this is a very tough matchup for the normal type.
It is that Registeel almost at the Focus Blast. It looks like that was what Andrew was playing for. First, this Body Slam will connect. It's not very effective, and unlike in the other games, there's no chance of paralysis or anything funny. It's just raw damage. Andrew, though, changing his approach here, going for that Zap Cannon instead, opting to go for the debuff. Still will do some nice damage, but more importantly, protecting that Registeel, just trying to give it as much health as possible because it is going to struggle against that Shadow Nidoqueen in the back.
You're exactly right. And some trainers at home might not agree with this. They might think throw the super effective charge attack, but applying that debuff reduces the effectiveness of the Body Slam. It reduces the lick damage as well, and it sets up Registeel to have a larger health pool as it moves into this final matchup against the Nidoqueen, which could be pivotal. Maybe this Registeel can be enough to take out the Nidoqueen as well and secure this matchup.
Well, it's going to be tough because that Registeel no longer has energy available to it, and Andrew keeping it safe in the back. That Sableye having the charge move queued up and foul play will be enough to knock out this Shadow Nidoqueen and put Andrew up 2-1 in this first set of grand finals. He is 1 win away from resetting this bracket.
1 win away from resetting the bracket, and Sableye has been absolutely key. That Pokemon keeps showing up in the end game. It keeps creating problems for its Axin in these final moments of the battles. Maybe Andrew's trying to give Axin some nightmares of this Ghost and Dark-type Pokemon.
I feel kind of bad for him, too, since there's that Sableye on the stage staring him down. You know, Milotic trying to maybe throw a little interference in there, but certainly a little bit intimidating. But, you know, one thing I find interesting, and maybe you can provide some insight for all of y'all at home, you know, we see the Sableye on both sides of the field. Both Axin and Andrew have access to it. And I'm curious why we've seen Andrew rely so much on the Sableye, but for Axin, it seems like it's just going to be left on the bench battle after battle.
I actually think Sableye has incredible flex play here against Andrew, but Andrew's team choices have really kind of pressured its Axin to not bringing it, choosing to bring Pokemon like Azumarill, which can win that matchup against Sableye, really kind of dissuade his opponent from choosing it in later games. And I think that its Axin's playstyle, he would like to avoid the mirror matchup. He doesn't want his Sableye versus Andrew's. He'd rather put that Lickitung into the matchup, and that's why we keep finding it on the field here in this best of 5.
Yeah, and that's something interesting to keep in mind. And I mean, talk about fan favorites. Lickitung Sirfetch'd out on the field for Game 4 of Grand Finals. Again, instant switch for this Lickitung into the Swampert, which I think Sirfetch'd is happy to stay in on. No, it's a revolving door of Pokemon as Walrein takes his place.
Walrein jumps into the battle here, but Sirfetch'd does have great tools to deal with Swampert as well. But this Swampert did get a lot of energy, so was that switch out a little bit unnecessary? Should he reach for the Walrein earlier?
I don't know, and if you think about it, that Sirfetch'd had a Leaf Blade and Night Slash available to it as well when Andrew made the switch. Will be taking a lot of damage from Hydro Cannon. Icicle Sphere will be firing back. I think this Walrein will eventually find the knockout here, but Andrew forced to use a shield if he wants it to be from the Walrein.
This is a really tough call. Andrew deciding to invest the Protect Shield there. It's very risky to know if you're going to survive that Hydro Cannon attack because it is just so powerful. In comes the Lickitung though. We've seen Lickitung just absorb charge attack after charge attack, and it looks like it's going to have to absorb 2 Icicle Spears. Now the difference here is Lickitung comes out with energy. Does that flip this matchup now that it's back on the field?
I would assume so. I mean, having access to that energy and having the ability to take away your opponent's shield advantage, as Andrew is up 2-1 right now, is going to be really, really important. You know, looking at the switch timers as well, both these trainers have the ability to switch once these Pokemon are knocked out. So yes, even though Walrein is removed, if Andrew sends in that Sirfetch'd, Axen can immediately switch, and then Andrew can switch as well. First, we're seeing the Body Slam come in from the Lickitung, maybe trying to force Andrew to use that last shield to invest in that Sirfetch'd, but not this game. It's not a knockout. Leaf Blade caught by the Shadow Nidoqueen and the Protect Shield.
And the Protect Shield here, wanting to save that Nidoqueen's HP. We've seen those shields be very pivotal. Actually making the switch out now into the Sableye. This is a great team reading call by Andrew, predicting maybe the Poison and Ground type appearing here. We know it resists the Poison Fang, and a no-shield call as well. Great call by Andrew again, back-to-back, making all the right decisions in the latter half of this game.
Yeah, I don't think there was enough time really for Axen to find that Earth Power. It might have been maybe a second too soon. A second Poison Fang, though, will ensure the Sableye's defenses are low enough that those fast moves will be doing, you know, I think the primary amount of damage for this Nidoqueen here on out, but those Shadow Claws as well, doing a fantastic job, forcing Axen to use that last shield to keep that Nidoqueen around. It looks like he's not looking for that Lickitung to be the win condition at this point.
It looks like, oh my goodness, it looks like Sableye triggers the CMP event, gets to do the foul play here. It's Axen has to grimace a little bit because that was a tough thing to lose in that charge move priority exchange. Nidoqueen faints. In comes the Lickitung. No Protect Shields remaining for its Axen. Andrew seems to be in control, but Sirfetch'd is low in HP. Can it reach a move, or is it going to get licked down by the Lickitung? It's Sirfetch'd!
It's so quick, but Axen able to tie up this set in the Grand Finals thanks to that best buddy Lickitung.
Best buddy Lickitung comes through in the moment of need, keeping Andrew's dreams alive here. He does not want to go home in second place, and Axen wants to win it all, and so does Andrew. So these two competitors are going to go at it here. This could be a decisive Game 5 coming up here for this first best of 5. Now, if Andrew wins Game 5, a reset occurs, a second best of 5 will be played, and essentially, Gabby, that is a clean set. Whoever wins those 3 games is the champ.
You know, if I were in Axen's shoes right now, knowing that I am 1 win away from being the first North American International Champion in Pokemon Go, I think you just make a hard read. I think you predict, I think my opponent's going to do this. I have these tricks up my sleeve. This is my guaranteed win strategy into what we've seen Andrew play so far. You take the risk. You gotta buy a ticket to enter the raffle, as one of my favorite co-casters likes to say, and this is that opportunity to do so.
Well, you miss all the shots that you don't take, so it
That's
looks like
another good one.
It's Axen wanting to take that shot and secure the victory here. I just want to point out as well, no Steel type on his team, but nerves of Steel and a commitment to that Lickitung, bringing it time and time again in the face of Sirfetch'd, in the face of that Registeel with Focus Blast. Lickitung just keeps on showing up, and it's making things very hard here for Andrew to adjust as they move into the late game. Again, Sableye in the back though for Andrew in another battle. How do you feel about that, Gabby? I mean, we've seen it in the back. Do you think that Lickitung makes its way to the back of the lineup instead of the front?
I think it has to. I really genuinely think it has to, because looking at how Andrew has played all of these games so far, that Sableye has been such an amazing closing Pokemon for him. You know, he's able to position it right. He's able to force the switches early so that he does get the advantage with the Sableye. And that's something that Axen has to have recognized by now if he wants to check in, or if he wants to check his opponent and get that championship title. I think that as well. You know, the other thing that's interesting about how Andrew has been approaching this setup is that I feel like he really is relying on the same strategy game after game after game and really going for that consistency play, which is a great call by him to make, knowing that it's working out so well. But Axon just has the perfect opportunity here to call that.
Well, you know, I did grow up in Mississippi and spend several years in Florida, and pardon my grammar, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If it keeps on working, you just double down on the things that work, because switching things up this late in the pairing might be detrimental. But again, lots of pressure here on both of these trainers as they look to succeed. I want to remind everyone watching at home, if you are not watching the stream and also catching some wild dino spawns, you definitely need to get out there and catch this Community Day Pokemon. One of the coolest shinies, a green shiny dino. Evolve into Hydreigon to get Brutal Swing, a Community Day exclusive attack. It's a very, very fun Pokemon, especially in the Master League. If you bring Hydreigon, it's very intimidating. Now, as we get queued up here for a decisive Game 5, let's bring it back. We're in Columbus, Ohio. We're on stage, right?
Yeah.
It's Axon needs one more game, 4.5 minutes to everlasting eternal victory. This is history in the making. Andrew wants it all as well. He needs to win this battle and then 3 more to become the champion. But if anyone is capable of doing it, it's him.
Yeah, everything is on the line at this point in time. That cannot be stated enough. Andrew, knowing that if he loses this game, that's it. Tournament's over. You get the nice second place prize, but you know he is gunning for that championship. And I really love to see just how cool and collected he is on the stage. And you got to keep those nerves of steel. You know, he does have the steel type Pokemon, so maybe it's a little bit of a double down, if you will. But you have to have those nerves of steel. You have to be thinking through your matchup. Your brain has to be 100% tuned into this game, because every single second counts. We've seen that game after game after game in this grand finals. It is going to come down to the second. You're not going to want to blink and miss with this action coming up.
And that's where you need to go back to your fundamentals. You can't let the spotlight really shake up your strategy. You have to use that muscle memory and trust in yourself. This is Game 5. It could be decisive. Let's get some hype in the stadium and on the streams. We do have Azumarill versus Lickitung.
So that Lickitung not in the back of the party to counter that Sableye. That could be a key decision here for Axon, as these two Pokemon are going to use this opportunity to charge up their energy. Lickitung reaching the power whip first, but no shield from this Azumarill.
Lickitung lashing out here with the Power Whip, trying to deal some super effective damage to that Azumarill as it continues to gather energy. Maybe anticipating a switch out. Andrew choosing the last moment to throw this play rough. As we've seen before, Lickitung can withstand a lot of damage, and this is no exception.
Yeah, but still, this damage is really going to start adding up on both these Pokemon, and I'm very curious if we're going to see an instantaneous switch, but instead this Azumarill finding the second play rough right before that Lickitung found the second Power Whip. No shield from Axon. It's going to be close, but it misses that knockout. I think this Power Whip will be enough to pick up that KO, and using the opportunity not only to get extra energy, but also going for that Body Slam.
Going for the Body Slam here, again, managing the energy, being so judicious with the deployment of this energy, and goes for the lick all the way down. Lickitung doesn't have any HP left, but does he have the Power Whip loaded? We're about to find out.
He's going for it, and he gets it. He gets the Power Whip against this Sableye. No shield from Andrew, probably hoping to catch that Walrein instead, but still, knowing how problematic Sableye has been for Axon, every little bit of damage counts. Swampert out on the field for Axon. Sableye taking the opportunity to get some energy in, but the swap into Walrein.
Switching into that Walrein as soon as the Swampert reached the Hydro Cannon. Trying to get the bait. It's Axon is so cool and calm and collected. Throws a Hydro Cannon bait here and still gets the shield.
That Walrein is very healthy, but a swap from Axon into the Shadow Nidoqueen. Poison Fang is the move of choice. A bit of an interesting switch here, as you know, Nidoqueen, those defense drops are certainly going to be helpful, but it really will struggle to find the damage, whereas this Icicle Sphere is just going to do so much. Axen does have 2 of those shields, but he's not using them.
He's not using them. Going to let Nidoqueen absorb this attack. It does hang on with just a couple of HP, but the powder snow freezes out the Nidoqueen. Here comes the Swampert. This is an Icicle Spear. We do see the shield get deployed here as well. Swampert needs to manage the energy perfectly to have a shot here.
All right, so Walrein, it looks like it's going to be able to find an attack prior to that Mud Bomb knocking it out, but Swampert getting the Hydro Pump to attack first, forcing the last shield from Andrew. And this, you have to imagine this is going to be the last shield from Axen, as there still is that Sableye in the back.
No shield on the Swampert. Its HP is low. He switches in the Sableye, throws the foul play. Now the question is, can Swampert get to a Hydro Cannon and somehow defeat the Walrein? It's going to come down to the very last moments of this battle. Swampert gets there. It fires this move first because the Shadow Claws do so much damage. Andrew kind of throwing his head back. He knows what's coming. Does Walrein have enough?
It's going to be so close. This is the moment that's going to decide who will possibly be the champion here. And
goodness!
It's a tie! Both of these Pokemon go down at the same time.
We are tied up in more ways than one. It is 2-2, and these players want the championship so badly. Neither of them are going home.
And the crowd going absolutely wild. I mean, what are the odds of both those Pokemon taking that damage at the same microsecond in order to result in a tie of Game 5 here in the Grand Finals? I believe we just replay that.
I believe we go to a fresh battle here. These trainers are just going to wash their hands of that matchup. And guess what? If you thought it was about to be over, you've got one more game to play at minimum, maybe up to 4 or even 6.
Oh man, I guess 6 really is on the table now, isn't it? Given how that last game ended. And you know, I gotta wonder, maybe that's something you try and force again. It will give you more opportunities to work through this matchup and figure things out, but everything just came down to the wire in more ways than one there. I'm struggling to think of any adjustments these trainers can make. I think it's really just a mind game at this point. It's all predictions.
It's all predictions now. You know your opponent just like a boxer in the late rounds of the matchup. You've traded blows, you know their strategies, you know their techniques, you have a feeling of what they're going to do. You have to trust your feeling, you have to reach down, look away from the spotlights, look away from the stage, and look inwards on yourself and figure out what is the best strategy and how can I become a champion today.
Well, Sableye, I think, is definitely the Pokemon of choice for Andrew. It has done really everything he's needed to, everything he's asked of it throughout this tournament. And it seems like Axen just really struggling to find the proper alignment against that Sableye. Yes, he does have Pokemon like Swampert that can deal big damage to it, but he's just really struggling again to find them in the right position. Yeah,
I think Lickitung again showing up time and time again, maybe kind of planting that idea in Andrew's head. Am I going to see that normal type Pokemon? Is it going to try to corner my Sableye? How do I respond to that? Or do I just continue to bring that Sableye in the back to try to sweep up these matchups and get a victory here? But let's see, it's Axen again. We've shown the willingness, the ability to adjust. He doesn't care if he loses a game. He wants to win the war, not just the battle.
He is, again, one win away from taking the champion title here in Columbus. And Andrew, one win away from resetting the bracket. Let's go. This is technically game 6 of 5, but let's say it's game 5 of 5 of the North American International Championships Grand Finals. Registeel versus Medicham are the leads.
It's Axen in command of this matchup. He's going to look to deal a lot of super effective counter damage. Registeel reaching for that Zap Cannon just as quickly as it can, but it looks like, maybe one. Oh no, the Medicham gets the Psychic off first. Now, this has some wild card potential. If that defense drop is triggered, counters do even more damage.
All right, not very effective, but no defensive drop. Instead, that Zap Cannon will be connecting. No shields in play as well. This Registeel at such low health. Feels like that Medicham would be able to knock it out, but instead Swampert and Walrein, again, these two water-type titans facing off.
these Titans square off, but Walrein, as we know, is going to pace just a little bit quicker to these Icicle Spears, whereas the Swampert relies on that Earthquake to deal any meaningful damage. As you see that first one get fired, Swampert builds to the Earthquake, goes over the Earthquake, reaching for a charge attack here. Do those tendencies come into play here? Is this a bait? Is this an Earthquake? Let's find out. Andrew, shields!
You have the shields, you gotta use them. They're not gonna roll over into the next set, and I love the call of that Earthquake here. Walrein opting for an Icicle Sphere, and Swampert at such low health, actually using a shield to try and not waste that energy that it's earned. But that Earthquake, it's there. He finds it.
Oh my goodness.
Is Andrew gonna shield it is the big question.
It's Axon has leverage, and he is turning up the pressure here, twisting with the Earthquake, and he does land this one. Walrein, oh, it's a CMP event as well, which means all this energy is essentially spent.
Yeah, and that Swampert, no more shields used on that Pokemon. It's just at such low health that shield really will be advantageous, but a new Pokemon on the field, Shadow Walrein for its Axon, going to find that Icicle Sphere and almost find that Earthquake, but more switching. Registeel now out against the Medicham.
I really, really admire these counter swaps here because this keeps Medicham away from the Sableye, which is in the back. You gotta expect Andrew's gonna try to win the battle with the Sableye. Now Medicham gets to avoid it, and Walrein gets to bank so much energy. This Community Day Pokemon is going to rock through the rest of this matchup.
Or Ice, maybe. Ice would be more appropriate given the typing. Icicle Sphere will be the move dealing damage to knock out this Registeel. And Andrew, that Walrein has just a sliver of health left. The Sableye is at full health, one shield left to both of these trainers. You know, I love seeing the Sableye here, as that does give Andrew the opportunity to swap in that Walrein later to act almost like a third shield.
I just wanted to offer a counterpoint. You said there was one shield left, but essentially that Walrein with virtually no HP can act as a second shield here. It might be the lifeline that Andrew reaches for as that switch timer expires, but Shadow Walrein is still on the field. Don't get distracted. Here comes an Earthquake. Oh my gosh, this must have been 1 or 2 seconds to make all the difference.
And that 1 or 2 seconds could mean the difference between the champion and the title, as Walrein gets the knockout on Sableye, goes for an attack here, uses that last shield to block the Icicle Sphere. It's Axon, mere seconds away from becoming your champion of the North American International Championships.
It's Axon defeating all his opponents, going against the odds, and what a thrilling, essentially best of 6 that we saw here in Columbus. My goodness, these trainers both deserve to be here. They're both going to London, but there is only one champion on the stage, and he's sitting in the left seat.
Coming down to the wire once again, every single second counting. Just the amount of patience, the nerves of steel on demonstration from its Axon. What an accomplishment for him here today.
Congratulations to It's Axon for winning the North American International Championship. I know you've been in the PvP community for a long time. This is the premiere for Play Pokemon, Pokemon Go. What does it mean to win the first ever North American International Championship?
This event was so stacked, so many great battlers. I mean, I can't even put into words what it's like to be up here right now.
Wow, and I know you did compete in Indianapolis as well. So did you make team strategy adjustments, or what changes did you make to come out as champion here today?
Yeah, so I basically ran the same team I ran at Indianapolis. I just swapped out my Diggersby for a Swampert, and I got a lot more play out of it this time than I did at Indianapolis. So I think the team is solid overall, and then the slight adjustment with my Swampert there was a good change.
And I know you have a favorite. I see that golden Lickitung every time you battle. Why is that your favorite Pokemon to use in these tournaments?
It's just so flexible. I mean, it beats Trevenant, it beats Walrein, Swampert. It can even beat Medicham, so even like the worst counters for it, it has a lot of play.
Well done, It's Axon. Congratulations again for winning the first ever North American International Championship for Pokemon Go.